adopted. Amendment number 321, Senator Chang Diaz of Boston offers an amendment which the clerk will read.
Amendment 321 by Senator Chang Diaz, alternative education grants.
Chair recognizes the senator from Suffolk, Ms. Chang Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment, I rise, of course, in support of it and to ask for adoption. This amendment would increase funding to the alternative education grants line item by about $1 million, bringing it to the FY09 level and preventing a cut of more than 80% from FY09. Chapter 194 of the Act of 2004 created this line item that supports grants for districts to create or significantly enhance alternative education programs for at-risk students and students who have been suspended or expelled from school. From its inception in fiscal 09, through fiscal 09, this line item was consistently funded at about $1.2 million, and it was reduced to $200,000 in the FY10 budget, and the Ways and Means proposal before us funds it at $146,000, which represents an 84% cut from pre-recession levels. We have right now a serious dropout issue in our state, a dropout crisis, I would submit, in our state. While Massachusetts, and this is jarring for many of us to hear because we know that Massachusetts has the best public schools in the nation, which I'm proud to say as education chair. We have some of the best standardized test scores in the world, and these successes, unfortunately, however, are not reaching all of our young people in the state. Each year, about 10,000 students drop out of school in Massachusetts. That's 10,000 students last year, 10,000 students this year, 10,000 students in the year after that, and the year after that, if we don't do something about this. And as a state, we know we have a moral imperative to ensure that all children receive a quality education. But we also have an economic imperative to do so, especially in this time of fiscal constraint. And I know that the constraints faced by Ways and Means were serious and that they dealt responsibly with this budget, making difficult decisions. But education is the single best economic driver that we have as a state, allowing us to fare better even during tough times, which we've seen during this very recession, by providing us with stability countries. Employers come to Massachusetts. We know they don't come here because of our cheap real estate or because of our cheap labor. They come because of our educated workforce, and they stay because of our educated workforce. But each year that the dropout crisis eats away at that competitive advantage, we undercut our economic growth prospects as a state. So we have a responsibility to act on behalf of these kids and their families and on behalf of state and local communities. Just this term alone, on all of our watch, 20,000 kids will drop out of school during this term of service in the Senate. For members who are in their second term like me, that's 40,000 kids who will have dropped out on my watch. For members in their fifth term, that's 100,000 kids who have dropped out on our watch. Failing to act also carries huge social and fiscal costs for us. Dropouts are less likely to have a job than those who do earn less than high school graduates. Dropouts are more likely to depend on public health insurance, benefits programs, and dropouts make up, and I urge your attention on this, those who have dropped out from high school make up 70% of our jail and prison population in Massachusetts. 70%, at an average cost of about $46,000 per year per person. This is an enormously expensive crisis for us to ignore. This line item is critical to addressing our dropout problem. It is not this line item alone is not going to solve the dropout crisis, but it provides the most direct funding stream in our budget for addressing our dropout prevention and intervention efforts in the immediate term. And as the Globe editorialized this week, the solutions are known to us. And thanks to the Massachusetts Graduation and Dropout Prevention Commission, we have a very clear roadmap. We know exactly what to do. All that's left is for us to act. We just need to follow this roadmap. And the Commission's recent report recommended continued and increased funding for this line item. Even before these cuts, demand and need for the programs in this line item outstripped availability of these funds. Alternative education programs in our state currently serve only one quarter of the approximately 12,000 at-risk students who could potentially benefit from such programs. So by increasing this funding, we won't hit them all, but we will hit more. And we should not fail to do, even though we can't do everything, we should not fail to do the things that we can do as a state right now to solve this problem. So I ask and I urge for us to continue this important commitment that we've made last session. We took a really brave step forward last session when we passed the achievement gap legislation, and I ask that we continue that commitment by putting this funding forward in the way that the Dropout Commission has specifically recommended to address at-risk youth and keep them in school and on track. So on behalf of these kids and their at-risk peers across the state, and for the good of our Commonwealth and our taxpayers, I ask for your vote on this amendment. I hope the amendment passes.